2. You guys are live.
Hello, everybody. Hello there. Welcome to our first live edition of Two Funny Astronauts. I'm one of your co-hosts, Garrett Reisman, and this is
Mike Massimino, and this is very momentous for us. But first, our disclaimer, of course, we're not claiming to be funny people. We're just funny for astronauts. So hold us to that standard.
That's
low
right.
bar. And today, Garrett, we have our first Q&A, which means through the wizardry of modern technology, apparently we're going out on YouTube. Thanks to our producer, Jason, who I think is going to be joining us for the first time, asking us these questions, right?
Yep.
Jason, is that true?
That is 100% true. I can confirm that.
So Jason Noor, our producer, is with us today. He's with us all the time.
Jason, why don't you say something about yourself? Since our viewers have never been introduced to you, tell us a factoid, some interesting thing from your past. Some dark, deep secret or something.
Oh, dark, deep secret. When I was 20, I started losing my hair after some girl said, "You got great hair." She pointed at it. And I swear to God, that's the first day that I started losing it. And I tried to cover it up for years. It did not work for me. And the first time I shaved my head, it was so botched. It looked like I was in some sort of scrap with something. I looked like a bad dog. I looked like some dog that was abandoned. There you go. Dark secret number 1. Congratulations, world.
That wasn't kind of like a fun fact.
No, but you know why? You know why, Jason? That was I think that was the best thing that ever happened to you.
Same. Same. I moved up.
Garrett, you haven't shaved yours though. You thinking of doing that?
Yeah, I do I do it quarterly.
Quarterly? You go completely shaved in your head? Quarterly?
No, I mean I cut it low. I go once every 3-4 months. That's all I need to do.
All right. So, guys, we got some great questions coming in, especially on our YouTube feed. Okay, so I'm looking at this, and Joshua is asking whether either of you would consider an Axiom flight if asked.
Wow. Do we have to pay the price, the thing, or is it for, if we're asked to go for free? There's a big difference.
That part I don't know. But for the sake of a hypothetical and Josh's question, I am going to say that it's free.
All right, then yes. I would certainly go. In fact, I even had some talks with them about that. I just, in the interest of full disclosure, I am a licensed Axiom agent. So if any of you want to get a ride with Axiom up to the space station, call me. Operators are standing by, and if you call now, you get a free tote bag with your purchase of a ticket to the space station. So no, but seriously, I think it's a great company. They're doing great work. Our good friend Mike Lopez Alegria is commanding the very first flight. A good friend of mine, Edton Stibe, is on that flight. If I had a chance to go with them, especially with guys like that, I would sign up in a second. How about you, Mike?
I would definitely go, I would go in a heartbeat, absolutely, especially under that model that they have where if you're an experienced astronaut, you can go, and if whatever that mission would be, I would love to fly with them. I think that they're a first-class group of people, and they're going to have some really good people already working with them. You mentioned Mike L.A. I think Peggy's going to be flying on number 2. So I would go in a heartbeat. Absolutely, I'd go with those guys. I don't know if I'd go for just like a ride up and down or anything but getting a chance to go to the space station, which is I've never been to, so I would love to go for that reason as well. I've never been there, so I'd love to go.
Awesome.
Now, on the other hand, if they were taking people to the Hubble Axiom, with these flights, then I would.
You wouldn't go?
No, I'm not going to Hubble. I'm not going to go.
Yeah, I would go to Hubble. I don't know if they can get to Hubble, though. I don't know if can SpaceX get to that altitude, Garrett?
Yeah, they have the performance. They could get there. You don't have an airlock, really, or a robot arm, so what you're going to do when you get there, I'm not so sure, but you could take some nice pictures of it. Yeah.
You can get up high. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to throw
Yeah, I'd
in
love to
another,
fly with those guys.
I'm going to throw in another question, okay, guys? So Jim Way, which is from our Twitter, Mike, when you ripped the handle off the Hubble, what were you thinking might go wrong? Question mark. Rip the spacesuit, crack your helmet, break the telescope, something else?
All of the above. What I really was thinking, I don't know if Garrett, if I told the story of my Uncle Frank with taking the oil filter off the car.
Yeah.
And doing that. So I was thinking when my uncle got, when he sprung loose an oil filter, I watched him do this when I was 10 years old in a car. He yanked on this big screwdriver that he put through the filter. So he had some leverage on it. And that's what I was thinking. This one's for you, Uncle Frank. But I was worried about all those things. I wasn't really so much worried about myself. I was worried about damage to the telescope, but I really wanted to get that the handrail was blocking the pathway to fixing the telescope that day, to fixing this instrument. So I really wanted that thing out of the way. And really that's what I was most concerned about, was getting that thing out of the way so that we could bring that instrument, that we were working on, back to life. Because it was a very complicated repair. We were taking apart an instrument that was never intended to be taken apart before. That we had planned this for years. 100 new tools were invented for this one task, and that's really what was going through my mind. I didn't think like I was necessarily in any danger, I thought I could protect the telescope, but my major feeling was get that handle out of the way so we could do our job that day.
Mass, what I want to know is, did you get to keep? Did you keep that handle? Did you get to keep it?
No, Garrett, I didn't. I've seen it a bunch. They let me borrow it a couple times, believe it or not, for my class. It was on display at the Intrepid Museum. But what I tell people is that if you really want something, you should steal it, because no one's going to necessarily give you anything. So that's what. There was another thing on that. Another thing on the telescope that there was a ground strap. We used to take the instruments out, and they were grounded with a ground strap and a bolt that would hold the ground strap in place, so the instrument was grounded for electrical issues. So we would release that ground strap and put it like under a little clip on the telescope, and it was covered with a little cover, and the little cover said HST ground strap in the location. It was kind of cool looking thing. Anyway, in the simulator in the pool, it was sewed into the bottom of the telescope, right in the simulator in the pool. In space, it was just held on by tape, but no one told me. So I take this thing off to reveal this clip, and it comes off in my hands. And so what are we going to do? They had a little hole in it, sort of at the front of it, like a handle. So I was able to tether to it right away, so I wouldn't lose the thing inside of the telescope. That would have stunk. So I tethered to it. I said, I'm just going to bring this inside. And they said, yeah, good idea. So then we had this thing inside, Garrett. I'm telling you, it was really cool. It's been inside the telescope for a lot of years at this point. It was just like really cool looking thing.
So you just kind of
no, that's the problem. Because I was like, man, I'd sure like to have this. And I handed in. I don't know what happened to it. So that's the way. Even something like trash. No,
you know what? It's because you keep telling people. I have whole modules of the space station in my garage.
That was my follow-up.
Don't tell anybody. You take it back. Nobody's going to notice.
Yeah, no, they would want that stuff back, but no, I never kept any of that stuff.
Do you think you guys? Quick question: do you think you guys could probably get like either a rocket or a space station the way they used to get Jeeps back from World War II, just shipping it to yourself one piece at a time?
I don't think so. I don't know. Yeah, they keep track of that stuff.
Yeah.
But the interesting part, I don't know, like, did you have stuff in your trash bag, Garrett? Did you ever put stuff in your trash bag on?
Yeah.
Did you keep that stuff, or did you turn that in?
I have some of that stuff. Like I got the wire ties that I used on my mini workstation. So we had the Russians, we came up with these really fancy things. The Russians came up with these things that are really useful. They just take like pieces of, it's like a clothes hanger. It's like copper wire that's kind of like a clothes hanger that you could bend around, has loops in the end. and it's great because you could use like twist ties. You could like put it on your thing and use them for tether points. And we started using those. I kept a whole bunch of those, and I still use them today around the house. If I want to, like, if I have like an extension cord, I got to wrap up. Yeah,
Yeah, they're very useful. Yeah, no, I have one of those. I have one of those from a spacewalk, but that I think was okay to keep.
Yeah,
because there was many of them and so on. But like even the stuff in the trash bag, like little pieces of whatever we found, a little piece of plastic came over something. They wanted us to turn all that stuff in, and we should have kept, but everything we turned everything in. I mean, when it comes down to it sounds like, oh, I'd really like to have this. You don't screw around with that stuff. Everything.
No, you do. We stole lots of stuff. I got one of
the. They did. What else did you steal?
I got one of the command and control computers. They got, and they're not going to notice if one is missing. They got 3 of them. So, yeah.
All right.
And we wonder why we have problems.
All right. So
new question, Jason. Go ahead.
Another question. This is from. Give me a second. I'm just scrolling down. Disney gal Cheryl. Is every NASA graduate assigned to a mission eventually, or are there graduates who never launched?
I think by graduates they mean astronauts who go through the
training,
who are selected.
I believe so. Yeah.
Does everyone fly?
Yeah.
So that's
almost
a yes.
is the short answer.
Yeah, almost every. Yeah. Just about everybody. We had a couple in my class. We had 3 people who did not end up flying. 2 medical issues, and a third, I think, just kind of lost interest. Was doing not should say lost interest, but started getting involved with other things, and there was some delays in the flight rate. And so, out of my class, all but 3 out of the 44, including the international people we had, got to fly in space. How about in your class, Garrett? I think you had maybe one or two.
We also had 3 in my class. Yeah. There were first was Patty Hilliard or Patty Robertson. She was a wonderful person. I really had. She was
she's great.
One of my best friends in my class. She was just a wonderful, wonderful person. And unfortunately, she was killed in an airplane accident, not involving with NASA, a small airplane accident. And then so we lost Patty. And then there were 2 that chose not to fly. They could have flown but didn't. One was Bjarne Tryggvason. He quit like in the first week or like first month. He started doing them.
Fly?
He flew as a payload.
Didn't he fly
specialist.
Before? He flew. Yeah. He flew. Yeah. Okay.
He was a payload specialist with Canada, so he got kind of one of these kind of like junior members of the crew kind of thing. I don't know how to describe a payload specialist, but anyway, he didn't go through the full training. He didn't become like a full astronaut, but he got trained enough to go and do this one specialty job on his shuttle flight. And then he got selected to become a full astronaut, and he joined our class. And then he looked at like Hardines there were in your class, Mike. And then he looked at how many other penguins there were in my class. He was like, this is going to take forever. I'm out of here. I got other things to do. I've already been there.
Is that what he said?
I've seen the Earth.
Well, there weren't that many Canadians. He was on the Canadian line.
You know how slow
that
many
Canadians?
Moves?
Yeah,
that line moves like maple syrup. It's slow,
You know what line seems to move pretty quick are the Italians. I don't know how they do it, but the Italians, they got it figured out.
They work deals. Yeah, they do.
Now the Japanese are flying. They got a lot of Japanese guys going now.
They're doing all right.
They found each one of them.
That line's not. That's a good line to be in.
Yeah,
you don't want to be in a Canadian line.
Those space agencies are working really well. But anyway, Bjarne. So Bjarne, I knew he flew. I didn't even know he was in your class. Did he make it in for the photo?
Well, he was in my class for like a month. He was in my office. I shared an office with him, and then one day he wasn't there.
So did he make it to the photo? Did he make it to the class photo?
He made it to the photo. He made it to the photo, but like not the barbecue.
Was he the only Canadian? Was he the only Canadian in your class?
In my class? No, it couldn't have been. Maybe he was. Who's the other?
So
Canadian?
we had a couple Canadians. But if he was the only Canadian on your class patch, did you have flags on your class patch?
We did. We have we had tons of flags. There was a big controversy.
And do you have the Canadian flag? Is a Canadian flag on that one?
I gotta go back and look. There's so many flags on there. Because we went with Mac's flag. We look like the United Nations. Ridiculous.
But
we got the flag of Luxembourg on there for some reason. I don't know. Too many flags. Yeah.
You're trying to be, correct about all those things. But Bjarne, he got in the photo and he may have got the Canadian flag on the patch. What else? He's just missing. The only thing he was missing was a flight. What? He got 2 out of 3.
And then the last guy was Neil Woodward. He also decided to leave. He got a job with Amazon while we were waiting after the Columbia accident. Yeah, he got a job with Amazon.
At Amazon?
Yeah. He said, look, it's just like being an astronaut. They let you pee in bottles.
Was it for the Christmas rush? Was he doing it for the Christmas rush? And then he decided to hang out?
He said, well, he made friends. And these are nice people. He decided to stay in the warehouse, and he's been there ever since. No, he's like an executive with them, or so I don't know. But everybody else flew. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So next question: which music did you guys listen to on the way to the launch pad? This is from Andrew K.
We didn't have any music on the way to the launch pad. I know they do that now because now they're driving these fancy Teslas to the launch pad. And they got Bluetooth connectivity probably to their suits, and they got they can rock out with tunes and everything. We had this old van. Remember the van we drove, Mass? It was like a converted Airstream.
It was an old Airstream. Yeah, no, I don't even know if they. Yeah, I don't know if they had a radio in that thing. The only music
I was listening to Mike Good hum.
Yeah, I was telling jokes, I think is what it was. We didn't have any any music on the shuttle Airstream going out there in that thing. We were concentrating on what we were going to have to do, I guess. And I didn't notice there wasn't any music. I don't think we needed any there.
Yeah, we didn't have any. But actually, what you said is actually true. We in my 132 class, this group right here. Oop! I tapped the wrong side. There's a delay here. This guy.
I knew it. I knew what you meant.
All right, this one. We were goofing around the whole way we were laughing silly. We were and they were stupid jokes. They were because we were all giddy. I think the excitement was making us like giddy schoolboys or something. We were just laughing at the stupid, silly, penis jokes. I didn't want to say penis jokes, but yes, there were penis jokes. There were stuff like that, and we were just cracking up the whole way to the launch pad. No music though.
All right.
Yeah, no music.
From Luna Replicas, what is the funniest movie you'd bring to space?
The funniest movie? I don't. I didn't watch. Did you watch? You were on a long duration flight, Garrett. So you probably watched movies when you were up there. We got waved off for a couple days on my second mission, and so we had free time. And some of my crewmates wanted to watch movies, and I was more interested in looking out the window. And I remember Drew Feustel called up on one of those days, one of those wave off days, and he goes. I'm looking at thunderstorms over Australia or something. And he goes, hey, Mass. And he calls up from the mid deck. And I'm like, yeah, what is it? He goes, come on down. And I go, why? He goes, we're going to watch Nacho Libre.
Oh, that's a great movie.
Great movie. But I was like, I'm viewing the Earth. So I was like, I'll watch it when we land. So that might have been the funniest movie we had on board was Nacho Libre.
Yeah, so a couple of things. One, all these astronauts have talked about how you're the exception there, Mass, but most astronauts do watch them, even on a shuttle flight. Most astronauts do watch a movie at some point.
We did watch Star Trek. We watched, just to be clear, we watched Star Trek as a crew. I guess that counts.
All right.
So
there you go. There you go. So even
I did it, right.
Did it. So whenever astronauts come back and they're going on and on, waxing poetically about how beautiful the Earth is, ask them, did you ever watch a movie? Because when you watch a movie, you have to cover all those windows.
Yeah.
Right? Intentionally put covers in the windows so that you can block out the light so you can see the movie. And they're going on and on about how beautiful the Earth is from space. Well, I covered it all up so I could watch Nacho Libre.
Nacho Libre. That's what but they were in the mid deck. They were in the mid deck. We didn't cover the windows in the flight deck.
No,
they were in the mid deck, and I think we put something over the access area. So,
but I think in with the episode we did with Bueno, we talked about how we watched Talladega Nights, and that was kind of a cultural experience with Piers Sellers and Tony Antonelli. But that was funny.
That's
Yeah.
a good movie. That's a good.
But
Yeah, with the Star Trek thing was what happened was it had come out that weekend when we were flying the Star Trek movie. The one like it was this is in 2009, so it was like when the new version of it where it goes back to the beginning, the building of the spaceship, the Enterprise, and all that.
Yeah.
So it came out while we were in space, like the week, and so we couldn't watch it. So someone in a control center or somewhere thought it'd be a good idea to reach out to the filmmakers to show it in space, to send it. So we had it. They loaded it for us or shipped it up or did something. So we had like this special copy of it that was given to us by the studio to watch. And so I think we felt like, well, at least we should watch it. And it was actually pretty good. We didn't get to watch it until it was right before our first what we thought was going to be our first landing day that night. And we were watching it. And like Scooter was our commander and he wanted to get his rest because he had to land the spaceship. So we were like, oh, and it came up like in chunks. It came up. It couldn't give us the whole movie all at once for whatever reason, a bandwidth or something. So we'd get like 30 minutes at a time. So we're like, all right, we're only watching 30 minutes. So we'd watch it 30 minutes. Like, oh, come on, can we watch it? So I think we watched the whole thing, and luckily we waved off. I hope we would have been awake, because we were up late watching this movie.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, you were going to say something else, though, and I think we're almost out of time, as it turns out.
Yeah. So Jason, if we have a lot of questions, maybe we do a lightning round. We'll give you short answers.
All
okay.
right.
Can you give us the?
Yeah, I don't know if there's any real short answer. Here's one for a quick short answer. Garrett, how much work did you do?
I just lost Garrett on the phone here.
All right.
Hang on.
I can hear you.
Right.
I can hear you, Jason. You can keep going.
All right. So Garrett, how much work did you do for All Mankind?
I do a lot of work for that show. It's as a tech advisor. In fact, later today I'm reviewing another script for season 3, and I love it. It's so great working with these guys. The writers are super fun. The producers are great, and I just They as a technical consultant, it's hard to know getting into this thing like what you're going to do. But I end up doing a lot of work in the show. I work with the writers. I read every script. I work with the directors. I work with the stunt guys that come up with I work with the visual effects guys. With the audio guys. I work with the props guys. I get calls from like the hair and makeup people asking me like, well, what do ladies do with their hair and when they're doing a spacewalk? I'm like, you're asking the wrong guy. But
you don't even know what guys do with their hair.
I know. I don't even know what guys. Yeah, but I'm like, I got a friend I can ask. So I called up Karen Nyberg, I think, for that one. But anyway, yes, I do a lot of work with that show, and I love it.
Okay, this one is from Vignesh, who has, by the way, been one of our most active listeners for the entire podcast, always pointing things out. Big shout out to him, and also to Alex Tapia, who is one of our 3 listeners, and we really appreciate those 3 listeners. Is there a funny moment you guys have that happened during a re-entry?
During re-entry, well, I fell asleep during the beginning of re-entry, apparently. There's a picture of me sitting next to Megan MacArthur, who's in space right now. And I was taking a bit of a nap, but it wasn't right at re-entry. I think, I don't know if this is really funny, but we used to film the crew in the cabin, and we had cameras set up and so on. And I remember holding the mirror. Garrett, do you remember you could do this? You could hold the mirror up to the overhead window and see the tail of the space shuttle from there. Mm-hmm. And as you're going through the plasma and it gets like, 5,000 degrees outside, it starts to more or less, burn red hot, and so I remember looking at that. Well, that's pretty cool. Like, looks like the tail is bright orange, reddish, like it's on fire almost. And I'm looking, I'm like, I don't want to look at that anymore. It was a little scary.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I don't know if that's real. I don't know if that was really funny, but unusual.
I never got to sit upstairs during entry. I got to sit upstairs on the flight deck during launch on my second flight as a flight engineer. But on both of my missions, I was downstairs in the mid-deck, so I never got that view. But I listened the whole time to my commander on my second flight, Hawk, going on and on about how fast we're going. Because as you get lower in altitude, as you're coming into the atmosphere, you actually are speeding up a little bit as you're approaching perigee, but also the view looks much more impressive when you're lower. if you're in an airplane flying fast and low, it looks much more impressive out the window than if you're going the same speed up high, right? And it's just like that in the shuttle. As you're coming in and you're looking out that window, it looks like you're just screaming by. And the whole time, my commander's going, "Holy crap, we're really moving!" And I got to listen to that all the way home.
All right, I did have one question that was there quickly, which is, what is the best food to have in space? Spaghetti, Jell-O. What's the best food that you guys enjoyed in space?
Well, you take that one, Mike. I know you actually like the food.
I like the food. I'm one of the few guys, I think, that gained weight in space. I did it twice on both of my missions. I gained like a pound or so. I kind of liked it. But I guess my favorite, I like the Italian food. And I also, lasagna, ravioli was pretty good. Macaroni and cheese. Shrimp cocktail is very popular, I think, because it has like a spicy sauce. And I also took my own stash of biscotti from Michael's Bakery in Brooklyn with me in space. So that's probably my favorite, was eating my friend's biscotti in space.
Which was the most fun? Out of all of those, which was the most fun to eat?
I think for me, it's like putting M&Ms and floating around like you're a fish getting or playing with your food is what it is.
Yeah.
So M&Ms, almonds, you can throw at people and you can catch them in your mouth. But Garrett has a pretty good story. I don't know if he's going to share it, but go ahead. I'm thinking of your fish, your Swedish fish.
Oh, my fish, the Swedish fish. I made my own aquarium by taking some water, squeezing it out of a water bag. And in liquids and zero gravity, because of surface tension, form a ball like a sphere. And so I made this ball of water floating, and I put the Swedish fish inside. So I had this floating aquarium. It was kind of cool. But actually, I would say the M&M things, like Mike said, that's always fun to like shoot M&Ms across the cabin, try catch them in your mouth. But the thing that we always told people, now you have to understand that the bathroom in space is not a pleasant experience, nor is it highly effective. Okay. Pooping is definitely one of the things that is better on Earth. Okay. Much better on Earth. And so one of the things we tell the rookies is if you see a brown M&M go floating by, before you gobble it up, look for the M. Look for the M. That's an important piece of advice.
Ladies and gentlemen, on that note, I think we should. I don't know if we can get better than that. All right, guys, this was a lot of fun. The amount of response we're having from people is great. We should definitely do another one of these. It was 100% a blast. All right, are you guys ready to wrap it up?
It was fun. It was fun having you with us, Jason.
Oh, that's a good thing to hear.
Thank
God for that.
Yes. A lot of these shows, they have the engineer become part of the show.
I know.
You know?
And this is the first show that could fail by having
Robin
the engineer.
I thought we weren't talking about stuff from the 1970s. Because I was just thinking, who was I thinking? Who we mentioned that would people nowadays would know about it? Ed McMahon.
Oh, Ed McMahon.
There you go.
We got to update our references. I mean, I'm still cracking up over Camarda referencing Johnny Weissmiller and Jack LaLanne. Who the hell remembers those guys?
And I brought a Buster Crab from like the 1930s.
Jeez, can we please talk about somebody that our listeners might? Anyway,
is Robin Givens still working with Howard Stern?
I think she is.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right, then that's current day.
All right. Cool. All right. Right.
Better.
I am in good company if that's what I'm compared to.
Yeah. There you are.
All
right.
right.
Cool.
All right, guys. Why don't you go sign it off, and then I'll wrap this up.
All right. Thank you for listening. Please like and subscribe. We would thank you much more for liking and subscribing than listening. That's much more important.
Yes. But thank you for listening, and it's been a pleasure always with Garrett, and it's kind of fun having Jason with us. And thanks very much for those of you that submitted questions. My guess is we couldn't get to all of them, but maybe we'll do this again, and maybe a couple times more. Who knows? If you like it, we'll do it again. This is the first time we tried the Q&A, so thanks for helping us out.
And
Yeah.
by the way, we totally forgot to say that tomorrow we have Bill Nye, a podcast with Bill Nye.
Oh,
that's gonna
man,
be-
that's the big.
That's the whole reason for doing this. We're like two stupid astronauts.
The whole reason we were doing this is to tell you that we have a special guest on tomorrow's podcast. Bill Nye, the Science Guy, is going to be with us, premiering tomorrow, 5 o'clock Eastern. Tomorrow being Wednesday. Wednesday, 5 o'clock Eastern. Tune in. You're not going to want to miss this one.
Yeah, Bill's a great guy, and he tells us some great stories. So, and he got his start in comedy. So you'll hear a little bit about that too if you listen in, and about some of the other things he thinks about. So he was nice enough to come on board the podcast, and you'll be able to hear him tomorrow, as we said, 5 o'clock on Two Funny Astronauts on wherever you get your podcasts.
All right, guys. Let me
Tune
say
in.
this.
Be there.
All right. Thanks, Jason. Thanks for the reminder about the Bill Nye thing.
That was huge.
And wrapping
Really,
up.
folks, that's the whole reason we go.